Good morning everyone, I am Zona from Andreani Group. Today we want to talk to you about our newest machine, the Dyno Spring. We don't have to be fooled about the name Dyno Spring. In fact, this is not only a machine to measure the spring rate and the hardness of our spring, but a dyno bench for all of the static force, all of the elastic force that we can have in our suspension. So we can measure all the force created by the pressure, by the spring, by the bump rubber, by the pressure created inside a fork of our closed cartridge. So every type of elastic force connected with an amount of stroke that we can find in our suspension can be measured precisely with our machine. Today we want to show you a specific application of this machine in the automotive world. In fact, we have here with us Maurizio from the car department. And Maurizio, you can show us one of the main applications of the machine.
Welcome everybody, and my name is Maurizio and I work in the automotive department. I'm a colleague of Jonah, and as Jonah has already introduced you this fantastic machine, so we want to tell that it's not only a normal spring tester, but with this machine we can also test all elastic components that we usually use on the car as bump rubbers. So Jonah now can act this machine, so you can see as the damper compress the bump rubber until a desired stroke that we want to test the bump rubber. After that, we can read on the display in real time the stiffness of the spring of the bump rubber, and so we can see in a direct time also on the PC the dyno reference. At this point, our machine has sampled the stiffness values, which will be displayed in a graph on our computer. Let's see the curve on this bump rubber. I just want to point out that the force does not start exactly from zero, because we measure our bump rubber directly on our shock absorber pressurized at 8 bars. So we will see that as long as the bump rubber will be not engaged, the force that is expressed on the graph will be really minimal. So the real strength of the bump rubber will start when it touches the shock absorber cap, and only from that moment on we will have the real stiffness of our bump rubber, which, as you can see, it will give rise to a progressive curve, since a bump rubber will always express a progressive force. Okay, let's go on. Now on this second test, now we have instead combined two bump rubbers with different heights and with 3 mm packers between them. So what is a packer? Most of you already know what is a packer. Packer are special shims that are usually used on Formula cars, GT, prototypes and all sport cars to limit the stroke on the shock absorber, to ensure that the bump rubber is engaged earlier than expected time by carrying more load on the tire. But now, coming back to our analysis, as said before, in this case we will give two bump rubbers that will work in series. In fact, as we can see on the dyno, our bump rubber will be engaged earlier respect the previous single one, even if the expressed minimum force will be basically on the same level as the previous one. We will only notice the previous curve will be translated. Let's go on with the last bump rubber that we will take in exam. Is of a different height and more rigid compound than the previous ones. In fact, the curve which it will give rise to, as you can see, will be stiffer just from the beginning, rising suddenly. Due to the advantage that the use of the machine as an elastic force meter can offer, it will be particularly appreciated in the Formula cars field for the construction of third elements, which is most of the cases are composed by bump rubbers and Belleville springs.
That is just one of the features of our DynoSpring and the software that comes together with it. And we are also constantly at work to find new solution, new improvement, and so we are constantly on researching and development. Also, we have a site, a portal dedicated to our machine, in which we upload all the new version of the software, all of the improvement, all of the news, so our customer can download directly from that portal. If you're interested and in have more information about our product and how they work and the feature and the ability they have, you can look on our website and check our site, and we hope you'll do so, and have a good day.